It's time for Lefties Losing It, and let's start with a particularly toxic brand of Christianity that appears to be devoid of God and goodness, but full of hate and loathing. Here is Atlanta preacher and far-left lunatic Jamal Bryant dehumanising half the country by calling Republicans roaches.
Roaches only start running when you turn the lights on. As long as the lights are out, they gonna be comfortable eating your cereal. Y'all ain't saying nothing, climbing in your cupboard. But when you turn the light on, all of the roaches gotta start moving. I came to give a warning. Elon Musk, the light is getting ready to come on. Donald Trump, the light is getting ready to come on. J.D. Vance, the light is getting ready to come on. MAGA, the light is getting ready to come on. Welcome, because the roaches will check in, but they won't check out. The lights are coming on.
Really, we need to seriously consider making asylums great again. And in case you thought this was an isolated incident, this preacher is notorious for bile-filled race-baiting rants.
I feel bad for them in the White House who are in there tap dancing for massa, wearing bow ties, shinning and grinding, laughing like nothing is funny. But I ain't afraid of the spooks that sat at the door. These runaway slaves hiding in the White House.
Talking about race-obsessed simpletons, let's hear from singer John Legend. First, he says he wants Trump to be the comforter-in-chief, like the leader of the free world is supposed to be some sort of therapist for Lefties Losing It. And then he goes into a demented diatribe about white supremacy.
Be a comforter-in-chief, you know?
Why do you think that he's latched on to diversity so much?
Oh, he's a bigot, so. It's a belief that there's a hierarchy of racial groups and that his group is superior, genetically superior. He believes that.
Right.
Whenever he talks about competence and qualifications, any white man will do for him. Look at the last guy who was Secretary of Defense. He was a 4-star general, supremely qualified black man. And then see who he puts in after him. That's the level of bigotry that he has. Any white man is better than that.
What a contemptible liar he is. You want to know why America is divided? It's clowns like him. And talking about clowns, it's been a while since we heard from this dude. Dylan Mulvaney now claims that he told his mother he was born in the wrong body when he was just 4.
Came out to my mom at age 4 as a girl. And
what did you say?
I said, I think God made a mistake and put a girl into a boy's body. And, you know, she said, God doesn't make mistakes. But, you know, a number of years later, we made it to where we needed to be.
Now, watch here as journalist Natalie Winters well and truly puts this CNN hack in his place when he questions whether Natalie is a real journalist.
To the people, and I'm sure you see this online every single day, who say you don't deserve to be here because you're not a real journalist. What's your response to them?
Well, I'm pretty sure the group of people in there spent, 4 years covering for someone who was essentially dead, and that's being charitable in my description of him, a president by the name of Joe Biden. So to all those people who are apoplectic over having new media voices, you guys failed, and that's why we're here.
Joining me now is political commentator and author of the new book, The Children We Left Behind, Adam B. Coleman. Adam, Natalie Winters makes an excellent point there. Journalists have lost the public's trust. So many journalists from the mainstream media who were complicit in the cover-up of Joe Biden's cognitive decline.
Yeah, Natalie makes a great point that basically the media is not representing the people. You know, what they're trying to do in that CNN piece is basically trying to spit on new media, trying to discredit them. They're trying to show that the old guard, like the CNNs, like the MSNBCs and so on, the NBC News, they're the ones who are deserving of having the honor of being in the White House. But the old guard cares about the old guard's institution more than it cares about actually reporting what is going on and being fair with their reporting to the American public. So what Natalie's expressing is what a lot of Americans have thought for a long time, which is why they're turning to new media, which is why they're getting their news elsewhere instead of turning on the television, going to the New York Times. They're coming to alternative media sources because it's far more honest and at least somewhat reliable.
And these alternative media sources are gaining enormous audiences. You look at some of the numbers listening to podcasts and others like Natalie, and really you look at the MSNBC audience, the CNN audience, they're being left behind.